Hi everyone. Today I'll be presenting our work on design and evaluation of inclusive email security indicators for people with severe impairments. And my name is Yaman, and I'm a second-year PhD at UIUC. This is a work done with wonderful collaborators, Saidivya, Smirity, Professor Wang, and Professor Wang. So phishing attack is a big problem all around the world. The main way we find them right now is using the automatic detection system. These systems are good, but they can make mistakes, like sending legitimate important emails to spam or trash folder. That's why we're using phishing warnings to give users their decision about suspicious emails. However, the current warning design utilizes colors and symbols to grab users' attention, such as the icon warning and the banner warning of Gmail standard view. Maybe some of you don't know, like Gmail also provides a basic HTML view for users with slow internet connection or old computers. But this kind of HTML view have less visual details like layout and the graph. So that would be easier for people with visual impairments to use also. The strange thing is in the HTML view of Gmail, the email warning is even just one line of text and mixed with all UI components in the email head. So when we think of that, color and shape are challenging for people with visual impairments to notice. They rely on tools like screen readers to read plain text on their screen. By hitting the down arrow key, the screen reader will read out the text in the left to right, top to bottom format sequence on the web page. And screen reader users can also use shortcut keys like H key to jump between different components marked as titles on the web page. So these shortcut keys save time and effort. Screen reader users normally love to use them in the daily life. So about the aforementioned email warning designs and the reading habits of screen reader users, a critical question arises. Are people with visual impairments receiving adequate security protections against phishing emails? Can they notice the security warning on emails, like phishing emails? Can they actually detect which are phishing emails? If not, what are challenges and how would they prefer these email warnings be designed? To answer these three questions, we interviewed 41 blind and low vision individuals. The first step is an exploratory study to understand the potential challenges, existing challenges they met, and we explore the new designs to make the email warning more inclusive to them. And the final step, we tested our new design with 20 participants in the main study. So to quickly highlight our main takeaways, the work shows like people with severe impairments easily miss email warnings on Gmail design and usually notice the warnings in our inclusive design. Diving into specifics, individuals with visual impairments often overlook warnings in Gmail design. This occurs due to two reasons. So first, people with visual impairments use screen reader to navigate through the web. However, the current email warnings lack of the necessary HTML tags that correspond with the screen reader shortcut keys, like the next heading, next link we mentioned before. Second, these warnings are located in the parts of the screen that these users normally ignore. By observing 41 participants, we have identified 4 distinct reading patterns when they're using screen reader. So firstly, individuals with visual impairments often read the subject and content of an email directly from the email list without actually clicking on the email and open it. The email list is presented in a form format, so people with visual impairments found it easier to navigate instead of opening the email by itself. And the screen reader can read out the entire email from the list, but it does not read out warnings. And the second pattern is a different form from the first one. Here, people open the email to read it. Some participants read through the whole email. However, they use the down arrow key. They're pressing it so quickly, and they miss the warning because the warning doesn't have time to play out in the screen reader. And in the third reading pattern, participants also open the email to read it, but they skip the top part of the email where the warnings are, and they go straight to the email message. Normally, they quickly press the down arrow key or using the screen reader shortcut keys to do it. And the fourth reading pattern is similar to the third one. Instead of skipping the email head entirely, participants actually use the same way to skip over some UI elements in the email head, such as reply and print, which are repetitive links to them. So from the four reading patterns we just mentioned and participants presented, they tended to skip partial email head or jump directly to the email body. They also like to use screen reader shortcut keys such as H next heading or tab next link to navigate through the email. However, the icon warnings in Gmail design, it's one type of the warnings in Gmail, are placed in email head where people with varying impairments tend to skip all the time. At the same time, icon warnings are lack of HTML tags, like heading or link, that correspond to the shortcut keys. So in result, when participants press the shortcut keys like tab next link, screen reader will directly skip the warning. That comes to our main finding of exploratory study. The current Gmail warning design doesn't align with screen reader users' reading habits. As a result, individuals with varying impairments tend to overlook these warnings. So based on the finding, we explored the design space with 5 participants in the second fold of our study. Participants experienced different inclusive design options on 4 emails and provide us their preference. And we revised email warning design based on participants' feedback. Our final approach included an audio warning, a shortcut key to expand the warning, and ensuring the warnings cover the whole page. So in our inclusive design, participants will be alerted with a bell sound if an email contains a warning, and then they can press the shortcut key, Ctrl+1, to reveal the warning message. By overlaying the warning message on the top of the email page, screen readers can easily locate the warning text for people with varying impairments. And finally, we recruited a new group of 20 participants for the main study. These participants did not participate in the exploratory study, so they can evaluate the inclusive email warning design without being primed about phishing emails. So in our experiment, participants played the role as an assistant to help their manager review emails. They went over 5 emails with different types of warnings in Gmail design and inclusive design. The first email is a benign email without warning, so we didn't show it in the screenshot below. In the email reading task, we check if screen reader read out warnings for participants. After reading each email, we will ask participants what will they do next. And after reading 5 emails, we ask participants if they notice the warnings and the phishing emails. So through the experiment, one major finding we had was inclusive design actually increased the noticeability of email warnings for people with varying impairments. From the graph, we can see like the blue bar is how many participants actually notice the warning in Gmail design, and the red bar is how many participants notice warnings in inclusive design. Clearly showed no participants notice email warnings. All the email warnings under the Gmail design, but 9 out of 11 notice all warnings in inclusive design. Another finding was more participants identify phishing emails correctly when they experience Gmail design first than the inclusive design. We can see in the left graph, this is how many participants identify phishing emails correctly when they experience Gmail design first, then inclusive design. And it's an increase of 3 participants notice and identify phishing emails in inclusive design. And in the right graph, when participants experience the inclusive design first, then the Gmail design, this kind of increasement doesn't show for Gmail. So another interesting finding was the warning design problems, such as warning position and lack of HTML tags, commonly exist in different email providers. For example, Outlook also has the icon warning shows in the Gmail, which put the question mark in the email head, but without the HTML tags for the screen reader users. And the same problem is also not only for desktop version, but on the mobile app version. So our study have 3 main takeaways. Firstly, people with hearing impairments tend to miss the Gmail warnings because the current designs do not align with their reading habits. Secondly, the email warning design problems are prevalent among different email providers. The same problem exists on both desktop and mobile version. Lastly, our inclusive design improves the noticeability of email warnings for people with hearing impairments, and by implementing the audio warning, shortcut key, and overlaying warnings. And that's a wrap on our presentation. We would like to acknowledge Jump Arches and NSF for their grant, and also a big thanks to our participants for their valuable time and insights. Thank you all for listening, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Yaman. And while the first questioner is coming up, I just want to mention that Yaman is a student who's looking for internships for next summer. So if you have opportunities, come talk to her after the session.
Great talk. I'm Matt Wright from Rochester Institute of Technology. Can you go to slide 26?
Can you tell me where is the
Just
26?
2 slides back. Just
2 slides
more
back.
slides.
Okay. Is this one?
One more.
This one?
There.
Okay.
So it also looks to me that the inclusive design has not done quite as well in B, on graph B. Can you explain why?
For sure. So this is a graph like how many participants correctly identify the phishing emails. So that could be influenced by a lot of factors, not only like noticeability of email warnings, but also their mental models, like how do they perceive risks in the phishing email, and how what's their technology background of a phishing email. So I think in the first graph is where like participants read emails first in the Gmail design, then the inclusive design. So one example I can give is one participant did not notice the email warning in Gmail design, but he noticed the email warning in inclusive design. So that could be the reason increase in the first graph. But the graph B is where participants experience the inclusive design first, then the Gmail design. That means they already like notice the warning, since we increased the noticeability of email warning a lot. So most of the participants notice the warning already. So that is not an effect of the warning noticeability, but also their mental models. Since some participants just even though they notice the email warning, they feel like this email could be false positive of automatic detection system. And we included all the discussion and details in our paper. So if you're interested, welcome to.
If I may just quickly clarify, do you think that basically the more experience they had with the warnings throughout the duration of your experiment, the more that they identified them as phishing? Would that be a fair statement? Because you did one and then the other, and then you get better on the second.
Can you say it again?
If you see, because the second condition seems to be doing better, essentially, as part of the like is one of the findings I guess I would take away. But do you agree with that?
I would say the priming effect do exist, but why do we like show the two graphs together? Is because if the priming effect exists, it should exist in two sequences, right?
Sure.
But an increment show in the first sequence, like which is Gmail design first, inclusive design second, but it didn't show in the second.
I'm sorry to interrupt the
yeah.
conversation. We do need to move on to the next speaker, but I will say, I will vouch, because I have read this paper. It is clarified in the discussion, so I would encourage everyone to check out.
Thank you so much. We can talk offline, for example. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Yaman.